What's up, YouTube? Um, so I got another video about slots too. So like basically, I just want to say that this is something else I noticed about slots, and it's not much to say, but it's basically just that in my last video, I think that's I think that stuff is true, but something else you should do is when you spin, there's another strategy to win that works well. This is implied by my other videos about slots that are older, but yeah, just when you spin, basically hit spin, hit stop after you like, I say this, right after you spin, or I mean, you got to figure out that there's a science behind the combinations that you're shown, and like sometimes there's like the slots line up with like the same thing or like patterns, and other times it's not gonna line up with those. Because sometimes there's just no way, because they rigged it that sometimes like these random things that come out of nowhere are not compatible because they're not the same stuff. And like, the other times that things happen in systems is you see things keep on being handed out that are compatible because they are like some of them are the same thing, others are not, and like it comes and goes, and like there's just as many times where there's things that are like the same things as there are times that there's things that are not the same things. Sometimes it's the same amount, other times it's not. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that like that determines when you should stop and how soon you should stop after you spin. Because like in any system, like as much as that happens, it's gonna have to keep happening, because it's basically because we live in a world of like imbalances, and like like things being put in places they don't belong. So then you're gonna have a bunch of images on these slots that are like in places they don't belong, because they're just not like they're just not the same stuff as not the same images as the other images around them. Like, and it's too complex to figure out all the times where when and where it's going to happen. Like, because you have to know like so much more missing data about it. Like, you have to know like you have to go to my video about ranking each country by like the geography. Then like it'll tell you like how many imbalances there are on average in each city and state, expressed in units of slots. It's just too complex. So you can only make approximations as if you're playing the slots doing this, I guess what I'm trying to say. And if you do the other things I said, it's going to make you more likely to pick the right stuff, even if you don't know what the right stuff is. But that's it. That's all you can do. It's just pretty stupid system, but honestly, it's your best chance, and I'll just say that you know, uh, I think that really there's no way around this other than to learn the geography and rank each country and state and city down to the smallest of units, which would be not even worth it when you could just do the things I said already, of course, and still win. So I just say that uh, you might ask the question of is there any way to ever what is it? How do I say it? Like, is there any way to like do this stuff like that ever? Is there ever any exceptions to this? No, there's not, because unless you have some sort of like aid of like a temporary aid of a supercomputer to give you such missing data, but temporarily, but which you might be able to do, but it just depends on the person. I was gonna say that I just think that there is another way that might work to solve this, which is you might say there's like a relationship between like in every system between all of the results. If you examine them carefully, you might notice that like for all the times that you spun in the past like minute, how many times like it spins really fast for each slot, but how many images did you see that you were almost, if you had stopped it, it would have been the same. Would have been the same thing. And like the best thing you can do is gather data of such instances, and like like try to come up with averages for a place that you play at on a regular basis, and like use that to know how often the ones that you could the ones that you could try will which times to stop after you hit stop after you spin, which times to not, and like you'd be a lot closer to getting it perfectly. But just be you can do that without studying the geography of the world intensely, but it's just you have to be willing to maybe torture your brain quite a lot through learning the math of what goes into that, unless you have somebody who's really good at math who could help you with it, but you may have to pay that person just to get it to happen. So but yeah, I was gonna say it's not really worth it. Again, you're already gonna get rich anyway. All you have to do is just basically let me say it, follow the algorithm that I was saying, and honestly there's really no way to really do anything else. Say like you might say, how many times did you stop it and then it worked, and how many times did you stop it and it didn't work? Or you could say like, but like I'll definitely tell you, like if you take a picture of every single after every spin, and all the results come in after every spin, take a picture of each of them if you were allowed, and examine like like I was saying with the Powerball, like examine every result and like make a chart, like look at the which icons or images were used for each result, and like which ones were different from the ones around them and which ones were the same, how much were they different or the same. And that will have something to do with it, because there's a relationship based on that. So you don't really have to know the geography of the world. Like You just have to know, like, the short-term relationships between those things, because those determine the long-term relationships, which is the results you could get in the future. If you have like maybe if you have like a math app on your phone or computer to do the data charting for you for that, you can just convert your results that you took with the pictures into some form of simple units, like algebra units, and like just put it on the chart, and it could give you data for, like, if it's a reliable app, it could tell you how likely it is that you're going to see which combinations are best. But yeah, like I said, best done if you have a friend who's already like a math genius at that, and like just like pay them to do it, and like they could do that for you, and then both of you make profit. Just do that, and yeah. So yeah, just do that, and I'd say you'd win pretty big over time, because there's definitely I mean, I've talked about this before. If you have like similar things near each other, yeah, it increases compatibility. So obviously the opposite is with different things. So but like just depends, because I was gonna say that like some things are similar, but they it's just like there's more to it than just because they're similar. So for the reasons I've said before. So obviously, you might be able to figure out some of it when you experiment with this, like at a slot machine. Like see some of the relationships based on, like, you might see how often you're having things paired together that are more like each other. So I just think of it as the anatomy of the creatures that are there. If it's the same or similar, then but like you can see, like, at first on the screen in the top left corner, like you have a lot of the same creatures coming together, and then like the next spin, you don't see that at all anywhere on the screen. So it's just like, so many things are changing so fast for the results, because other people are playing the game, changing the results. So that throws a lot of people off. But yeah, it's really has a lot to do with that stuff that I was saying. So yeah, this has a lot to do with what I'd call like where the most compatibility is. Like that's where like the same creatures are, but like still there's other factors. So I mean, if I looked, like, you can't tell from just one time. Like basically you can't, because you could know that one area that's just most compatible in terms of like the things I was saying, like in the top left corner, like if you don't know what's going to make it, if you don't know what can change that between that first spin and the next spin, then you have nothing to go off of. And obviously something is making it happen out of the other things that are on the screen from your results. But like I said, if you can't really identify that, then you're not really getting anywhere. So it's not really can't really do well unless you can find that out somehow. If you're really smart, you're more likely to figure it out Like when you're there, or you'd be a lot closer than someone, most people would. But I mean, most people don't even comprehend that there is any math to this stuff. They just think it's all magic and random. Basically, they don't even know what they think about it. So they come up with explanations out of the blue. So, yeah, I'd say that basically your best bet is start out with the things I was saying and then try more at what I'm saying with this. Like, experiment with that later. Because I've already tried all kinds of things. I tell you, it's too hard. Try all that at once. The main reason I'd say is because where you go, if you just sit there too long thinking about it, you're going to get, like told that you're soliciting, or there's a risk of it. So it puts too much pressure on you if you're not ready. So, it's just, there's no way around it either. Unless you're playing online. But, yeah, some people just can't play online for certain reasons. Could be anything. It could be a server outage. It could be not at the right place at the right time. It could be anything. So, I was going to say that, what is it? I definitely think that there's like more to be said about this, but yeah, for now, that's all I'm going to say. Thanks for watching. Bye.